West of the Rockies, welcome to Coast. You're on the air with Roger Tulsis. Hi there.
Hi, George and Roger.
Yes.
I'd like to ask Roger this. You discussed microwaves that can be beamed at a person to make them hear voices. With current technology, would this be exact, dictated wording, or would the victim be put into a general auditory hallucinatory state and come up with their own crazy topics and words?
Good question. Most of the people that I have talked to, because one of the things I really want to know when I interview people is, what are the voices telling? First of all, how many voices do you have? Do they have personalities? Do they have names? And what are the voices telling you to do? Because one of the really interesting things that I'm looking at is, what is the voice telling you to do? Because if they are in the program and they're supposed to have some kind of outcome, if they're a successful guinea pig, we're interested in knowing what the voices tell them to do. In some cases, the voices tell them to kill themselves.
I see. My goodness.
And they just keep beaming that. Kill yourself. Kill yourself.
Yeah. Or you wonder about Columbine kind of events as well. So it's hard for me to say. I'm not a psychologist, and I don't profess to understand that aspect of it. I'm basically a guy that goes with equipment and tries to figure out how all these things work. And it's a gigantic puzzle. It's a very fascinating, complex puzzle because you've got the people unleashing technology that literally billions of dollars have been put into, and here you're on the receiving end of it trying to decode it.
I'll tell you what, though, sounds like, Roger, some people are playing with some pretty dangerous toys, aren't they?
Well, this is a serious world. Don't kid yourself. And the stakes are high, and the very rich plan to stay very rich and plan to be in control of these things.
Next up, first-time caller. Welcome to Coast. You're on the air. Hi there. Hello.
Oh, hello. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm sorry. I'm not usually up this late. The cat's staring at me. I've really enjoyed this program. That's why I'm up so late, as far as Mr. Tulsa's
sure.
investigative work.
We got to figure out a way.
Very interesting. I didn't think anyone was paying that much attention to it, but I hear about it all the time. I had a few thoughts. There was a program I watched a few years back that isn't on any longer. It was with the Office of Science and Investigative Research, where they actually built a type sensor that they could wear around the ear, and were going to manufacture this sensor where it would scramble the human thoughts. And when I was hearing Mr. Tulsa's talk, I thought, well, if you had a sensor like that, maybe that would block them from hearing any type of thoughts. Whether this is authentic or not, I'm not sure. I think the program was called PSI Factor. And another thought I had was, I can remember almost 20 years ago when a few of our senators went over to Siberia, the so-called 30-story transmitters, 10-story receiver, I want to say weapons, but devices that were supposed to be used in deep outer space. Could they somehow be being used now to focus anywhere in the world? I mean, this is a problem that's worldwide, I know.
What do we know about this high electronic weaponry, Roger? Has anything been used? I mean, they were supposed to use this kind of smart bomb in Iraq, which would have destroyed all their microwave equipment. It was that high electronic microwave bomb. I don't think they used that.
High electronic pulse. Yeah, I don't think they would either, because it probably would toast their own gear. So, I don't think that they've quite figured out how to shelter their own equipment. I
don't think it's ready yet.
Yeah, I don't think it is either. But then again, I think the satellite thing, though, there's some very deep stuff coming with satellites. Like I said, they're already the NSA is already intercepting all kinds of communications with satellites. They know people's location. Your cell phone does not have to be in operation for the cell site to know where you've been. This is what people don't understand.
You mean it still reads it even when it's not on?
Every time you change cell site locations, there's a handshake that takes place. Your phone goes into the new area and says, "Hi, I'm here." And the cell site says, "Well, who are you?" And I'm so-and-so and so-and-so.
Even when it's off?
You have to pull the batteries out. That's the only safe way that I could say that.
Really?
Yeah. So my point is that you ride around with your cell phone for one solid month, and they'll go back and tell you everywhere you've been. And I'm saying that you never use the cell phone.
That's incredible.
Well, yeah, it's incredible. The other thing we got to talk about is brain mapping. You know anything about brain mapping?
Now, what the heck is that?
That's where they put you into an MRI, and they look at the amount of oxygen in different areas of your brain, and by showing you pictures of different things, they turn it into a rather complex lie detector.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is a new thing that's coming, and this is where we also could be in trouble with a new level of lie detector by seeing what areas of the brain...
Intrusion again, you mean?
Well, it's just what areas of the brain get stimulated when you look at certain things that they're going to show you.
So then they'll know what to do with that portion of the brain if they want to de-stimulate you, I guess.
Well,
stimulate you.
Yeah, that could be an event also, but this is more like a truth machine.
Huh. To make you tell the truth?
No, just to see your reaction to things that they want to know. As an example, let's say there's a crime scene, you say you didn't do it. Well, they show you pictures of the crime scene, and all of a sudden that's those areas of your brain that get excited when stuff's really going wrong starts lighting the machine up. That's what's happening as well. And that's,
okay, well, is that admissible? I mean, lie detectors are not.
No, but obviously we're not talking about court action. We're talking about interrogation and that kind of thing.
Well, that's true too. Let's go to our wild card line. Welcome to Coast to Coast. You are on the air. Hi there.
Hi, how are we doing tonight?
We're doing great, thanks.
I've just been looking at a lot of things between Edgar Casey and also some things from Nostradamus and things of that nature and what's going on today. I think a lot of this with the Patriot Act and some of the things your guests are talking about are preparing this country for martial law.
You may be absolutely right.
I think that...
You may be absolutely right.
I think our government already knows there's a comet headed this way, and they're trying to take precautions to keep the country from going into chaos, whether for good or bad.
Well, I don't know. Roger, if you've listened to Coast, you know that there's always talk about the possibility of us getting hit by an asteroid. There had been talk of a extra planet in the solar system that was supposed to wipe us out in May, and it did not happen, of course. But the caller may be right on the button in that a lot of this could be done for martial law or control whenever they think they need to do it.
Well, this suspension of habeas corpus relating to these people, that these U.S. citizens that they put in isolation relating to 9/11. They just took these U.S. citizens and threw them inside these detention cells, isolated them, and didn't give them due process, and said, "Oh yeah, it's in the Patriot Bill. No more habeas corpus. No more."
I got it, but I tell you, it's a fine line between security, real security, and an invasion of our rights.
Yeah.
It's a tough call. It really is. Stay with us. Roger Toltz is my guest. I'm George Norrie. We'll be back with more of your phone calls right here on Coast to Coast AM. Roger, would you be more concerned with law enforcement, local law enforcement having these powers, or big government?
I'm concerned with anybody having
all of them.
Sure.
All of them. That's what I thought.
Yeah, sure.
All right, let's go to the phones. Let's go to, man, the clock is ticking. Let's go to our first-time caller line. You're on Coast to Coast with Roger Tolsis. Hi there.
Hi, I just had a question. In the wake of 9/11, with all these private companies just wanting to make money and securing the country, with all this technology available with satellite tracking and being able to follow people, why is there still an FBI top 10 list? Why do we still have DC snipers and Eric Rudolph being able to hide out for so long?
All right, that's kind of an interesting question. Why do we have that top 10 list? How come Rudolph could hide for so many years, Roger? How come we can't find him?
The guy was living under a tree in the middle of the woods somewhere. I mean, that's about exactly where you'd have to be to stay out of the surveillance, using no phones, using no communication, not physically going anywhere, and probably was wearing disguises. I mean, but the point is they eventually got him, right?
Are our satellites so strong that you could literally key in on something anywhere and spot whatever you're looking for?
Yeah, I think so.
By coordinates, or how do they do that?
Yeah, certainly by coordinates. Mm-hmm. Yeah.